James Maddison has just joined Tottenham Hotspurs for £40 million. But the big question is he the player to finally win something at Tottenham Hotspurs? Well, of course, before we jump into that, right everyone, my name is Finn, and today we're going to be talking about Tottenham Hotspurs' brand new midfield signing, James Maddison. We're going to be talking about what kind of impact he could have at Tottenham Hotspurs, and how over time he could become their most important player.
Screw you! I quit!
Along with that, how he's going to work under Postecoglou, which you do have to admit sounds like a relatively tasty Italian dish. But of course, jokes aside, looking at James Maddison, there is no doubt that he has an exceptional talent. At 26 years old, he's just been relegated with Leicester City after an abysmal season from the Leicester City Foxes. But despite the fact that Leicester City didn't do well, James Maddison wasn't shy of showing his talent. As we know, he's been absolutely brilliant over the years. With Leicester City, he finally broke into the England international team at 26 years old, which we do have to admit over the last few years has been a relatively competitive position.
I prefer really not to speak.
But looking at his time in the Premier League, scoring 43 goals and getting 34 assists in 163 games, James Maddison has been absolutely brilliant as an attacking midfielder, and he could work perfectly at Tottenham Hotspurs. I mean, he even won 2 trophies with Leicester City, which is more than Tottenham Hotspurs have won in, well, forever. And get excited, Tottenham Hotspurs fans, because they haven't just been Audi Cups.
That's impossible!
Getting a Community Shield and an FA Cup, James Maddison has really thrived with Leicester City. But the big question is, can he carry that over to Tottenham Hotspurs? As we know, in terms of an attacking midfielder, they haven't necessarily excelled in that position in quite some time. Dare I say, since a prime Dele Alli and maybe even a Christian Eriksen. But looking at the likes of James Maddison, I've got a feeling he will be different, and he's really going to revolutionize that role at Tottenham Hotspurs. As we know, obviously joining this team with a brand new manager under the likes of Postecoglou, how is he going to fit under the likes of Postecoglou's system? Well, obviously, as we know, the Greek-born Australian manager has won essentially everywhere he's gone, whether it's when he managed in Australia, when he managed in Japan, or most recently for Celtic in the Scottish Premier League. Looking at his style of play, he plays a very traditional 4-3-3 formation, which once again, get excited Tottenham Hotspurs fans, because that means no more negative style of football. That means no more possession-based, really negative defensive style of football, and something you can truly be excited for.
What is this?
Because looking under the likes of Antonio Conte and Jose Mourinho, once again very possession-based managers, and I understand the fact that Postecoglou isn't as well known of a household name as Jose Mourinho or as Conte. Proven by the fact that I haven't gotten his name right once this video. Sorry. But at the end of the day, what did those household names give you? Absolutely nothing. I do think getting a manager who fits the system a tiny bit more, I think is really going to be beneficial to Tottenham Hotspurs. Looking at his time in Celtic, obviously in terms of the back four, I do think that's going to be huge for Tottenham Hotspurs. I mean, they haven't necessarily done that since they had Pochettino, where they had the likes of Alderweireld and Vertonghen at the back. Now, yes, I do understand that having Eric Dyer in your defense is a lot more different than having that Belgium duo.
That's the most outstanding answer I've ever heard. You must have a goddamn IQ of 160.
But I do think Christian Romero will fit that system perfectly. And if Tottenham Hotspurs get another centre-back to go with Romero, once again that defence is super solid, and it allows for more creativity in that midfield three that I do think James Maddison will be absolutely brilliant in. Yes, he can also kind of play anywhere in that midfield three and also as a right midfielder, which he did for the last bit of the season with Leicester City. But if you look at him in that midfield three, where he plays as a number 10, for example, which Dele Alli did for much of his career at Spurs, or whether he plays as a number 8 in a holding midfield kind of role as well. By that I mean 2 number 8s with a holding midfield. I do think he would also fit that system perfectly, because looking at Postecoglou, the way his system kind of worked with Celtic is he would have a front three, but of course between the inverted winger and the striker, the number 8s would make very important runs and they would score goals from that. And obviously, as we know, James Maddison making a very important run between wingers and strikers, whether it be between Harry Kane and Heung-min or Harry Kane and Kulusevski. I do think James Maddison would bag a lot of goals. Dare I say he would be a double-digit assist and goal player for Tottenham Hotspur.
Not bad, not bad.
Once again, I do think he would fit that system perfectly. I do think Spurs maybe do need another midfielder, maybe someone like a James Ward-Prowse with a bit more attacking ability than the likes of Højbjerg. But once again, I do think James Maddison would be perfect for Tottenham. One thing I do think people are underestimating about James Maddison, though, is his kind of role at Tottenham Hotspurs once Harry Kane leaves. As we know, Harry Kane has decided to stay at Tottenham Hotspurs until his contract runs out at the end of next season. And 1 year under Harry Kane could be vital for James Maddison. It allows him to get used to Tottenham Hotspurs, get used to their style of play, and when Harry Kane leaves, I think James Maddison is the kind of man to make the next striker look even better. I mean, we saw at Leicester City once Jamie Vardy started to have a tiny bit of a fall off when Patson Daka wasn't scoring as many goals. James Maddison kind of took over that role as the goal scorer, as the chance creator, and he's the reason why Leicester City almost stayed up. Once again, whoever Tottenham Hotspurs get in that striker role, I do think James Maddison's role will be to, well, make that striker look even better. Dare I say he could be the midfielder to make, well, Richarlison look like R9 Ronaldo.
You serious?
Okay, well, maybe that's a bit of an exaggeration, but I do think James Maddison, his role at Tottenham Hotspurs is going to be vitally important. I mean, we've seen him for the England international team, well, finally getting 3 appearances at 26 years old, the kind of impact he has in terms of creative play. And once again, if you put him under someone like Harry Kane, we've seen that for the England international team in terms of how crucial he can be with creative chances. Once again, I also think he's going to be the player to kind of rejuvenate the likes of Heung-min to finally make him look at the level he was about a year or 2 ago where he won the Golden Boot. Once again, I cannot emphasize this enough that James Maddison is the perfect signing for Tottenham Hotspurs, and I do want you guys to put in the comment section down below, or well, wherever the comment section is, do you think James Maddison is the player that will finally revolutionize Tottenham Hotspurs? I mean, I truly think he could almost resemble a prime Dele Alli in terms of his ability, in terms of his numbers, just without the attitude, to be honest with you. I do think James Maddison, 26 years old, 5 years he signed for at the club. I think if he plays those 5 years all at Tottenham Hotspurs, I do think he'll be absolutely magnificent for them, and he'll finally be the player to change things around for them. As we know, in that kind of era where they were fighting for the Premier League, where they ended second, where they reached the Champions League final, that is very much where they used a system that was very similar to Postecoglou, and not this negative style of play that Jose Mourinho, that Antonio Conte, and so many other recent managers have used. But once again, ladies and gentlemen, that is essentially it for today's video, and I do want you guys to put in the comment section down below what impact do you think James Maddison will have for the club. Once again, I haven't made many of these transfer style videos in the past before, and if you would like me to make more videos like this where I kind of analyze a player and the kind of impact they could have for a club, maybe the next one will be Andre Onana for Manchester United or another player of that kind of caliber. Let me know in the comment section down below who you would like me to talk about next. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you did enjoy this video. Please make sure to subscribe down below if you did enjoy it, and of course, don't forget to like it, because this has been Finn, FY Dublin. Until next time, cheers.